Testing. Oh, 27 minutes. 19 seconds. Bloody hell. Alright, I'll give it a shot. Why isn't the ticker ticking down though on how much time I got left? Oh, it's 17 seconds out. Alright. Hey, good evening. How you all going? Been a while. Oh, look at the wild man hairdo now. Told you it was never perfect. Happy beer o'clock. I ripped that off with my bare claw hand. Well, somebody had to do it. Because it is beer o'clock. It is this evening, about sometime tonight. Who knows? I forgot to look at the clock. It's not late. It's only 8:20, 8:30ish p.m. on the 9th of March 2018. And so I'd like to give a big cheers to the whole lot of you, even you globe heads. Cheers. Mustache looking good. Damn, that is bloody good. It might just be because, as usual, I got back from my walk. Wasn't a very interesting walk tonight, which sometimes is good, you know. You don't want to spend all your time just staring at the stars. But again, it was a lovely, refreshing evening. I've been busting my guts over the last few days. In case you hadn't noticed, I mean, it's pretty hard to tell from where you're looking, but every muscle in that leg and other leg that I've got, and the soles of both those feet on the ends of each of those legs, they're both really aching. Because I did a silly thing the other day. I went to pick up the push bike that I had to abandon down the bottom of the hill. It was only like 7 or 8 kilometres away. But when I got there, the back tyre went really kind of flat, so I had to like push it, and you wouldn't realise it, but some of these places to come back along what we call the Eltham Road, I mean, you can probably Google map it and prove me wrong, it's probably an exaggeration, it's probably only 3 kilometres and 1.5 kilometres, but it feels like 7 kilometres plus 3 kilometres or 5 or something. It's just a long way. But anyway, I had to abandon the push bike last week simply because it went flat, and when I finally got to this one spot where it was a little bit downhill, not much, but you know, 100 or 50 metres is 100 or 50 metres. Because I'd already picked up my honey. I'm really good at telling stories, eh? The reason I went that particular direction towards Beck's Hill is because just before Beck's Hill there's a bloke who always sells local honey, and his prices are like the best, $7 per kilo, whereas most everywhere else minimum I've ever seen is 8, and that's bloody cheap. Usually 10 or 12, which is still reasonable when you consider how much bloody work bees go through to make that much honey. I mean, a kilo of honey should actually be worth more than an ounce of gold. No shit. But see, we humans, we got it all ass backwards, and we treat honey like a commodity, like a sugar syrup you can just buy at the supermarket. Honey is fucking gold. So of course, when I did take my bike down, it was specifically to get the honey, and then I could go back the other way through the Eltham Road, up Johnson Road, and nearly be back here at Clunes where I live, which is all cool, you know, because it's, even though Johnson Road is all a massive big hill winding up and up and up and up, but you know, you got to do what you got to do to get what you got to get and shit. So it was actually my first test of the push bike, which, yeah, I admit it, I've been lazy. All I've been doing since I lost my license is hitching, and a bit of walking, but not to destinations. There's no destination from where I live, except maybe Eltham, where it's a comfortable walk. Eltham's maybe only a few kilometres. It can be done, but the way back is all uphill, and the only thing down at Eltham is the Eltham Hotel, so of course you're going to go down there, get your belly full of grog, which costs you $7.30 for a bottle of beer. Where if I just walked down this little hill 150 metres to the local bottle shop, I can get 6 of them for $18 and bring them back home and drink them if I felt that way inclined. Sometimes it's just nice to go out to a pub and have a drink, you know what I mean? So I don't hardly ever go and buy a 6-pack down at the local shop. I stay at home and brew my own for like about 30 cents a bottle. So, you know, big to you, $7.30 for a fucking bottle of beer at a pub. And it's not that much fun or anything anyway. It's just, well, at least you're out, and it gives you an excuse to stop on the way home to have a beer on your way home. So that was my plan, and you know, one thing leads to another. The fucking tyre went flat. I couldn't push it any further because the tyre came off the rim and it just kept, and I was carrying the extra 3 kilos of honey in my backpack, and so I just decided, alright, next place I find a good place where it's above the waterline, because it's really low lying along that road, and a lot of it's quite swampy, and so you want to find a place that's above the swamp level, because we've had a shitload of heavy rain since. Don't get me started on that. We've had quite a bit of rain since then, and so I found a good place. There's a few trees covering. I mean, I didn't want to completely cover the bike because I actually wanted to find it for myself when I went back to find it, and I had a really good secure cable with a padlock on it, which was easily picked had somebody been that way inclined. But people are really honest and decent around here, and I think if they see it looks locked, I mean, I probably could just put a fucking clip, whatever they call them, you know, clips, what you clip your keys onto your pocket, onto your belt loop with. I could have put one of those on it and would have been fine. Nobody would have touched it. But, you know, just in case one of those less honest people come along. So, on Wednesday this week, today being Friday, tonight being Friday, 2 days ago, I decided, right, finally I'm going to have to go and do a reconnaissance mission operation, get my bike back. So I get one of these little bike pumps, one of those tiny little ones where you could, that would fit, because yeah, I am a bit ashamed to admit I had it with me the whole time, and when I got to the bloke's honey place and realised that the tyre was already half flat, I just asked him, you wouldn't happen to have like a tyre pump, would you, so I could pump my tyre up, because it's going a little bit flat. It was about half flat by this stage. And he's like, nah, sorry, no, that's a bit of a tough one. I was like, who the fuck doesn't have a tyre pump? But anyway, he just didn't want to help out a stranger. I mean, how strange do I look? Not as strange as he looked, because, well, anyway. So, I sort of rolled it down his long driveway back down to the main road between Clunes and Lismore, and I thought, oh, it's not that soft, it'll be right, I'll ride it for a bit longer. Got to the Eltham turn-off, which is only just another 150 or a couple hundred metres past his driveway, except it goes like this. Now his driveway goes down like this, hits the main road, and then the main road goes back like that, and it's like, his house is just here, up here on the hill. If he only had a driveway straight down there and I'd be there, but nah, roads around here, this is Australia, we don't use logic, we do what's always been done, If that's where the road was done by our ancestors, then by God, that's where the road is going to stay unless. Sorry, I'm diverging again. Shit, I need a drink. So, anyway, over a week ago, I just had to lock it up and walk all the rest of the way, hoping maybe somebody might give me a lift, putting the finger out. Doesn't happen on country roads for some reason. People are a bit more weary. But when I stand out down on my road here with a little sign saying Lismore, picked up in minutes. Sometimes even 30 seconds is all it takes. Sometimes it takes a bit longer. It's taken up to half an hour at times. But anyways, so on Wednesday I decided, reconnaissance mission, go and pick up this bike. So I decided to walk. And I walked the same route just to see how far it was. And, you know, I've been waiting like all week for the rain to stop enough so that I could go do this. On the Wednesday, well, bugger me, sideways. Well, no. Just, I went to pick it up. So I decided I'd go for a walk. And I'm like, I always walk down this really rough road with my dog every night, barefoot, and I'm sick and tired of having to wear these bloody big boots that I used to wear from a previous job as a meter reader that kept me within OH&S requirements and shit like that. Those boots are bloody heavy, they're hot. It's a cool enough day, there's a chance of rain. I'll tell you what, I'll chuck my sandals in the backpack because they won't be too heavy, and I'm just gonna go barefoot and wear shorts and a singlet, and I'll wrap a flannel around my waist, and I'll put a spare flannel in my bag in case it does piss down, and I'll put a cap in there in case I have to keep my glasses dry, and yeah, I'll put the snap lock little bottle of this in my bag in case I got thirsty, and walked it. And it was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever fucking done. You do not walk along the side of a main road barefoot when the main road is 2 lanes, 1 lane there, 1 lane there, and the shoulder is a thin strip of white paint, and then on either side of that is nothing but fucking long grass and harsh rocks. Okay, it's a bit different when you're riding a push bike because you can sort of ride there is a little bit of shoulder, but if you're walking and you're walking on that shoulder and you're not wearing fluorescent colours and seeing a push bike, because push bikes have laws and stuff where people have to stay a metre away from you now. I probably should have taken a push bike I didn't want that I could just abandon. Fuck, why didn't I think of that? I've got a little bit of a push bike collection of old bikes that I've picked up for next to nothing, for parts mostly, and had a plan way back when they were going to turn the rail trail into a bike corridor. I thought, fuck no, if I'm going to get on that, I'm going to get a government grant and open up a bike rental place down at the old Eltham railway station and open up a cafe and fucking have a roaring business. But Toot decided we wanted trains on our track. They say tracks, but they don't realise it's a track. It's a one-way track. Fucking idiots. Anyway, I walked, and I walked, and I walked, and after a while I started feeling I'm getting blisters on the bottom of my feet, but it doesn't matter. In fact, I hadn't even got to the point of blisters before the rain hit. Yeah, when we get rain here, we don't just get like little pitty showers. We get drops that go and like you go. No, well, not quite like that, but we sometimes do. We get decent showers, and I came to a spot where I thought, oh well, this looks like a spot where I might be able to go and find a bit of shelter under the trees here and get a little bit away from the main road. and crack open my beer and have a bit of a slurp. This is where a weird thing happened too, where I all of a sudden had images of where this steep bank was, where I'm sort of sheltering under, with these massive big camphor laurel trees that are holding the whole thing together. And you can see their exposed roots and all the rest. Is I had a funny sort of feeling about, God, what would happen if one of those trees suddenly fell down? So I decided to just walk a little bit further, and lo and behold, the tree, this massive tree, it didn't fall down, so I was pretty happy about it. But how good a story would it have been if it did? And I said, oh, I just walked away. And that's exactly what I was thinking at the time. Don't get me wrong. It's exactly what I was thinking at the time. Anyway, after about 5-10 minutes, the rain eased off, and I thought, all right, I'll take my cap back off now and put my glasses back on so I could see, and kept on walking. And a little bit further up the road, lo and behold, here was a tree fallen over. But it's just like a little tree. It's only about, no thicker than, well, okay, thicker than my thigh. My thigh used to be a bit thicker, but it's getting a bit thin. It had fallen over, but the thin, spindly branches had obviously been wiped out by all the trucks and shit that came by, so it wasn't a hazard on the road or anything. But it was a hazard to me as a pedestrian, because there was fuck all shoulder on this road. Who cares? No, just keep walking, just keep walking. And I tell you what, doing about 7 or 8 kilometres on a road like that as a pedestrian, in situations like that, where sometimes you reach places where they got a guardrail on the side, and there's the white line, you've got no room to walk, and there's nothing on the other side either. You actually have to take the risk. So, I use my ears. I'm pretty good with my hearing as I'm walking and travelling. And it was a bloody trying, hard walk. And at any time, I could have stopped and put my sandals on my feet. I could have, but I'm just like, nah, fuck it. I'm not gonna. There were places I actually had to run, like actually running up the hills was better than running downhill, because when you run up, it sort of, I don't know, it puts the pressure into your spine a bit better, and your feet feel it better. But when you're running down, you're sort of like using your feet as brakes, and that's where it can really hurt. So I don't tend to like doing that. It's alright if it's on steps. You can run downhill on steps really good. You can, frickin' fly through them and just find the edge of the step. So you can use that as a bouncing point, jump to the next. But when you're on a road and there's no pedestrian access, this is not a pedestrian road at all. This is like a country fucking road. Sometimes the sides are mowed a bit, and thank goodness it wasn't mowed that recently, because the only relief I had was these occasional like thin runs of all the weeds and grass that were growing up, and I could walk on them as a path and get some comfort on my feet. I'm going, oh, that's so much better, because the road is rough, the road hurts, and what can I say? I'm a fucking nutter. But had I been wearing my sandals, I probably would have busted them out on that particular walk. So I'm glad I saved them for as long as I possibly could. And then I finally got back to the honey place. Walked up this hill, walk. And thinking, oh good, he's going to have one of those $20 bottles. The $20 ones are like the old milk cartons. I don't know if you drink milk. I certainly don't. They sell milk in a 2-litre bottle, plastic shit bottle, and that's what he sells the 3 kilo ones in. And it used to be, way back when I first bought one, it was $21. And I took it home and I weighed it, and it was only actually like about 2.7 kilos. That's a bit of a rip-off. Probably why I didn't go back for ages. But when I went back last week and got one, I said to him, so what are they, $20? He goes, yeah, the big ones are $20. Fuck, they got cheaper. And then the small ones are $3, and they're a 1 kilo tub. So I'm like, cool, I've got exactly $20 on me and 70 cents. And so when I got to him, I said, oh, fuck, I came here to buy one of the big ones, but all he had left was the little ones. And they're $7 each. And I said, well, you did me 3 of the little ones for $20 and 70 cents. He accepted that. Oh, legend. And he says, so now you're going to go and ride back home again? I said, oh, no, today I'm walking. And he just looked at me, barefoot, madman. Couldn't believe it, shook his head. And I said, no, I'm going to pick up my bike this time. I bought the pump, I know what it's going to do, and fuck, it was a trial. Got nothing to do with what I actually wanted to talk about tonight either. Which is good. Sometimes you just want to hear a fucking story. So another 5 kilometres down the fucking road, I found my bike. It was still there, a little bit more rusty because it's been exposed in all this fucking rain we've had non-stop since, and it took a little bit of jiggling the key to get the lock to open, but it got there. And as I'm pumping into the air into the tube, all I'm looking at is all what's coming out of everywhere because it's an old tyre. As I say, haven't been a push bike rider for a long time, so these old bikes I've been collecting for a while haven't really been tried, true, and tested as well as they could have been. And here comes this big, like, bubbly, white, sort of fountainy thingy coming out the side of the tyre. And the more I kept pumping, more and more of them kept popping up all over the place. I went, it's just expelling a bit of water out of the rubber, it'll be cool. Sure enough, it was cool. And I only had to actually ride a fairly flat road for a couple more kilometres before I got to the Eltham Hotel, and I was able to have a fucking beer for $7.30. So I only had the one. Anyway, it's all good. I'm trying to think now, the whole reason why I started up this rant, and it was not to talk about my fucking tails picking up my fucking bike that had been sitting out in the rain for 8 days since I left it there. It's Friday night. Happy birthday, Nikki, my little sister. It's her birthday today. She has one every 9th of March. Fancy that, eh? Fucking rich bitch. God. Just kidding. Who would have one every 9th of March? God. Mine's on the 22nd of June, and I'm lucky if I have one every... I have one every year too, but... it's not as spectacular. Anyway, I took the dog down for a walk. Let him do his business. Cleaned up after him. Come on, Cleveland, get away from it. Sometimes he likes it. Fucking hell. I wonder what they put in my lunch today, because I'm actually feeling pretty good. So good. Oh, that's right. There was something. But it went whoosh. I'm enjoying my TAFE course too, by the way. I thought I'd give you an update on that. It's going great. All the people who are still in it, I really like them. They're great people. There's been 1 or 2 new ones come and 1 or 2 old ones go, but more or less. I'm not going to mention their names anymore because what I did is probably a breach of privacy and or bully laws. They've introduced some pretty full-on strict bullying laws these days, where even if you bully somebody behind their back, it's still considered bullying, even though I can't see how that could work. But anyway, happy days. Oh, that's it. What about this new idea? I've only got like 2 minutes left now, so this is a pretty good time to introduce it. What about this idea that actually aeroplanes have been running for the last 10 or 15 years, not on kerosene fuel, but on compressed air, and using other sorts of technology to make them float, such as not necessarily helium, but hydrogen is actually a very light gas. And I saw another one today that you think I could, I'm just too relaxed. Probably because I'm starving. I haven't eaten since I ate at lunchtime, which was the first time I've eaten since last night. So I don't eat much. That's cool. I thrive and survive on next to nothing. Yeah, but what about that these planes that, since they created this thing called the Airbus, I think there's a big clue in the name, Airbus. They're full of some sort of gases that make them appear to float quite a lot, like a blimp, in a way. And I reckon they've stolen my technology. Or maybe I stole it from them. Who knows? I'm going to stop this before I get to the end, only because when it times out, often I can't find it until I have to delete a whole heap of shit, and then it lets me say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and stay strong. Earth is flat, and all of us in the know it. See ya.